in the early days as the bad boys of magic because they supposedly revealed tricks, but because the real methods of magic are so generally banal and uninteresting, the way they created that impression, they never revealed real methods. They invented pseudo methods that were more entertaining to reveal.
Right.
And which was kind of, so they were amazed when magicians got up in arms about it because like you can't really use these methods and they're ours anyway. But yeah, the method's never the trick. You apply the method. Jim Steinmeier's book, Hiding the Elephant, is a wonderful book. About the history, the golden age of magic for the Edwardian era, and about magic invention. And Jim says there, the magicians guard an empty safe. You know, there's really nothing very much that's exciting in there as far as method goes. The method is just part of a building block that now we have to build all of this other stuff of theater and performance and narrative and story and tremendous layers of psychology and deception that really makes for an illusion. And that was what we were going back and forth on, right? And me as someone who's taught sleight of hand, and I do it in a very slow, methodical way with my students. I don't teach them a quick trick so they can get the variety.
I don't learn anything in a slow and methodical way.
Right, but then after going on with that, so there was this party.
So this is great. So Jamie does this trick. He says, this is the first trick I teach my students, and it's basically, he puts a coin in your hand, and then that's not the, when you open your hand later, you have the wrong coin in your hand.
Changes places. It's not just change coins, change places.
But the way he does it is with one of the editors from Popular Mechanics. And this is a party I throw every year at Comic-Con in my room. It's like just become a tradition. And so Jamie is doing this trick for her, and I'm standing kind of back behind him, and he has her open her hand, and she opens her hand and goes, oh! And then just as she does that, Jamie turns around to me and he goes, that's what I mean by affect.
Right, but softly.
It was beautiful. It was a really, really lovely lesson, because also what she was going through was quite intense. I mean,
yeah, she had
simple. It was like,
right.
Holy crap.
Yeah, she had a very unusual experience that she was not expecting to have, and that she probably never had before in quite that way. And that's actually what we're trying to do. It doesn't work every time, but that's actually what we're trying to do. Not just trying to be clever. I think the point of magic is to try and give that experience. So the laws of the cosmos have just been violated, and I don't really get that. But boy, it felt like something different than the rest of my life.
Yeah. I was surprised until I started to play around with it how it feels from a performer standpoint, kind of like a little dangerous zone.
Yeah, it's a guided tour to a dangerous place. At its best, it should be that. Unfortunately, it often isn't, but at its best, it should be that. They are cueing us to wrap up. Do you have something else to add?
Jamie, would you entertain the audience with a try?
I don't think we're going to have time.
You don't think we have time? No?
That's fine. No.
Okay.
I was having fun with it. I think the conversation was great.
So you're going to have to corner him later, get him to do something for you. You know, it's like I said, these conversations started in the middle are one of the great and rare parts of this. And it's also like coming here, you know, I go out on the street in San Francisco sometimes. Well, not so much San Francisco, I'm kind of omnipresent there. But if I like walked out on the street in Minneapolis, there'd be a lot of people, oh my God, the Mythbusters here, you know, and there's a lot of stuff you have to deal with being famous and people coming up and doing that. Here, it feels like everyone has a sense of proprietary love of the show, that the atmosphere here is totally different. And it really is like a grand conversation started in the middle. From a performance standpoint, everyone who's been appearing on stage here talks backstage about how fantastic it is to come out in front of these crowds, where everyone is just so warm.
Yeah.
From a performance standpoint, only a wedding is full of people who are more excited to be there.
Yeah, there's a distinct culture here that's different from Comic-Con, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You were the one who told me. You said
Comic-Con is amateur night.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I've been to a couple of Comic-Cons, and after being to a couple of amateur nights, it's really been a pleasure for me to finally make it here among the pros.
That comes from the quote, drag meets in New York always referred to Halloween as amateur night.
So that's the difference. Hey, it's been a fun conversation. We'll have a bunch more that we start in the middle.
Thanks for coming in the middle.